Trigger warning. This episode contains discussions of police brutality and graphic descriptions of violence that may be distressing to some listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. If you or someone you know is affected by police violence or racial injustice, please seek support from organizations dedicated to justice and reform. Imagine a world where being restrained doesn't mean being protected, but instead being handed a death sentence, where the very people sworn to uphold the law become executioners behind closed doors. On December 9th, 2024, Robert L. Brooks, a 43-year-old black man, was not just another victim. He was the latest casualty of a system built on violence and silence. Beaten while handcuffed, assaulted with calculated brutality, and denied medical care by those who should have saved him. His death was not a tragic accident. It was an execution. The footage is sickening. The injustice is glaring. And yet, the question remains, how many more? How many more before we stop normalizing this? Before accountability is more than just a headline? Today, we expose the facts, the failures, and the fight for justice in the case of Robert Brooks. If you believe in justice and accountability, share this episode and amplify Robert Brooks' story. Contact the New York State Attorney General's office at 1-800-717-755 to demand a thorough investigation. Support Brooks' family through their GoFundMe organization link. Our voices matter. Silence is complicity. Stand with us in demanding change. And while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps bring awareness to cases like this and pushes for real accountability. Welcome to Life Points with Rhonda, the podcast dedicated to real conversations about relationships, personal growth, and social justice. I'm your host, Rhonda, and today's episode is more than just a discussion. It's a call to action. We will dive into the heartbreaking case of Robert Brooks, a man whose life is stolen by police. This story is not an isolated tragedy, but part of a system of abuse, neglect, and racial injustice. It's crucial to not only say these things, but to fight for change. alleging excessive force, yet they remained in positions of power. And what about the medical condition? Their duty is to preserve life, yet their silence allowed another black man to die in the hands of a corrupt system. How many other legal statements have been indicted in fighting for justice. If this episode resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe to help us keep these critical conversations going. Hit the notification bell so you stay updated on cases like this and ongoing efforts for justice. Stay informed, Robert Brooks' name now joins the
Tonight, tense moments in court as one by one and in handcuffs, 9 former or suspended New York State corrections officers made their first appearance before an Oneida County judge. 5 of them, Nicholas Anzalone, David Kingsley, Anthony Farina, Christopher Walrath, and Matthew Gallagher, facing murder charges for the December death of inmate Robert Brooks. Redacted body camera video from that day shows the group of officers repeatedly kicking and punching Brooks in the legs and chest and trying to jam an object down his throat.
These men murdered my father. It was on video. The whole world got to see it.
The alleged murder happened inside a medical examination room at the Marcy Correctional Facility in upstate New York on December 9th of last year.
Robert Brooks committed a crime. He was doing his time. He had a right to safety, to humanity. He was denied that. This is unacceptable.
3 other corrections officers, David Walters, Michael Fisher, and Michael Mashaw, facing charges of manslaughter, and 1, Nicholas Gentile, of tampering with evidence.
Our investigation further revealed that there was no provocation by Robert Brooks that would have precipitated any physical response whatsoever, never mind the physical response that was inflicted upon him.
All defendants pleading not guilty today.
Waive formal proceedings and plead not guilty to all charges at this time.
And released on bail, or in Gentile's case, of his own recognizance. Brooks was serving a 12-year sentence for stabbing his girlfriend and died from his injuries the next day.
I would never get my father back. The man had robbed me of that opportunity.
Robert Brooks's father, among those watching today from the courtroom.
You marched him out. You let him go. My son didn't get that opportunity. My son didn't have a bail. And my son didn't have a murder charge.
And Marquise Francis joins us now. Marquise, there is one more individual in this case facing a murder charge who did not appear in court at all today.
Yeah, that's right, Morgan. There's a 6th defendant, unnamed defendant, that was also charged with murder. And in fact, this person's name was redacted in the unsealed court documents that were revealed in court today. Now, what we did hear from the district attorney, this person was unable to surrender themselves today and appear in court, but they are not a flight risk. Even though we do not know their name, they are expected to appear before a judge in the near future.
And we know you'll be watching all of it. Marquise, we thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you found value in today's video, I invite you to take your journey even further with my podcast, Life Points with Rhonda, where we dive deep into relationships, personal growth, and the wisdom that helps you thrive. Tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all major streaming platforms for powerful insights that can transform your life. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more uplifting content like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Stay connected with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. Life Points with Rhonda. Visit my website at lifepointswithrhonda.com for exclusive content, coaching, and more. Thank you for your support. Until next time, take care and stay phenomenal.